Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video. If you are new here, my name is Nicole. So today's video, we are doing the first of, I think, 2 update videos, and we're just going to be doing an update on how I am going with the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. We're in July and I thought it would just be a good opportunity to sit down and see how I'm going with the 24 books I want to read in 2024. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I'm going to get straight into it. So just to start off with, out of the 24 books that I need to read in 2024, I have absolutely smashed it. I'm really proud with how well I've been tracking with this. I did put quite a lot of fantasy books on here that scared the shit out of me because I was petrified to read them, but I'm actually doing really well with the challenge. Little quick show you. That's a quick little summary of how we're going. I also just want to say, if you can hear some weird licking sounds in the background, it's Ollie with his licky pad. Please ignore him. It's the only way to keep him quiet. So let's just get straight into all of the books that I have read so far in this challenge. So the first book on the top of the pile is You Have a Match by Emma Lord. I ended up rating this one 3.5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I've kind of decided that I don't think Emma Lord is really an author for me after reading this one, but neither of these books are really good. So I don't really feel the need to, I guess, continue picking up her books because they're just kind of met reads for me. They don't stick with me. If you don't know what this book is about, we focus on our main character. I'm not going to try and even bother remembering names because I know I won't. And she's like the eldest child and she's got a couple of siblings. Anyway, she does a DNA test to help out her mate who's adopted to try and help him find his family. So to make things easier, she decides to do the DNA test with him and actually discovers that she has a biological older sister and her parents actually put her up for adoption, but then a 1.5 years later had her. So she ends up going to camp where this girl is like the camp counselor so they can get to know one another and try and work out what the hell happened, why she was put up for adoption and why she was kept, and what actually happened between their parents. So it sounded like a cool story, just didn't really enjoy the execution, but was going to keep this short and sweet. Then the second book that I have read was Time of Our Lives by Emily Wibley and Austin Sigmund Brocker. I'm trying to get through my backlog of all of their books. This is one of 3 of their books that I have on this list that I want to read. This one focuses on 2 main characters. It's a dual point of view. They're both sort of finishing up high school and looking at going to colleges. Our female main character, she is the eldest of 5 to 7 children, and they basically want her to go into the family business of the restaurant and stuff, and she's very much I'm sick of having no privacy, I'm sick of my big family, I want to go away to college as far as possible. Embarks on this college tour with her boyfriend to sort of look at all the different colleges in America that she can go to so she can pick the one that she wants to actually go to and apply for, I guess, because I think you apply for multiple. And then our male main character has absolutely no interest in going to college because his mother has been diagnosed with early onset dementia, which is also what her mother passed away from. He's petrified that if he goes to college, his mum's going to pass away and die because that's what happened to his mother. She had to leave the college that she was at, go to the local community college to help look after her mother until she eventually passed away. That is his plan that he's going to do. And his mum's like, no, I want you to go to college because I really loved college. I don't want you to sit around waiting for the day that you have to start looking after me because I need a carer. And he is also forced to go on this college tour with his adoptive brother. The 2 of them meet and do the college tour together, and it was really beautiful. Made me cry. It's gonna make me cry now because my grandmother's currently got dementia and I'm just thinking about this and this is just upsetting me, so I'm going to stop talking about it. I gave it 4 stars and I maintain that. Okay, oh, this is good. This is a happy one. It's going to make me happy. So the third book that I read, which was actually one of the first couple books that I read this year, was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This was a 5-star read for me. I loved it. I rave about it all the time. I actually went and picked up her backlog, which you can see. You can do this. You can do this, girl. Those 2 there, right there. They're the other 2 books. I loved this book. We focused on our main character. She has Asperger's, doesn't understand dating or anything like that. Her parents decide that they want grandchildren and they have to kind of broach things with her so she can mentally prepare for it. And she panics, hates relationships, doesn't like kissing, sex just weirds her out. Found her very relatable, and she basically hires herself a male escort to teach her how to do sex and other sexual acts and kiss, and they end up falling in love, and it was beautiful and gorgeous and I adored it. Okay, well, that's part of a series. I'm going to do the series at the end, I think, and we'll just do the standalones first. Oh, okay, so the very first book that I read this year was If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. If you guys have seen any of my book tag videos, I adored this book. I thought it was fantastic. Makes me want to read more of Julie Murphy's novels. This is also the first book in the Are Meant to Be novels / series that Disney is doing, where they basically bring in a different author and get them to do like a reimagining of a classic Disney princess and put her in modern day times and write a cute little story about it. And if you couldn't guess, this one is about Cinderella. We focus on our main character, Cindy. I remember her name, and she is essentially a plus size shoe designer. She's just finished college. She comes back home. She lives with her stepmother, and I rated this 5 stars. I thought it was brilliant. I forgot to say they also go on like a reality dating show, basically The Bachelor. But the way that Julie like merged in the Cinderella references was brilliant. I loved it. This is the first one in the series. We also do Belle, Ariel, and then we've also got Rapunzel that has literally just come out. But I loved this. I adored it. First book, first 5 star. Fantastic. Great way to start my year off. Okay, and then book 5 was Fire with Fire by Destiny Soria. This was a letdown. This one, I'm trying to find my rating for it. Apologies, I'm looking down. There we go, 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars. This was meant to be a dragon book. We have 2 sisters. They're dragon slayers. Their whole family is, and one of them basically has like a soul bond with a dragon and switches sides. And there was this whole other subplot. I didn't enjoy it very much. It was disappointing. I don't recommend this one. I really didn't enjoy it. And then book 6, which is also the second Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegerman Brocker book, is Always Never Yours. I did not enjoy this one anywhere near as much as Time of Our Lives. I did end up rating this one. Why have I read so many books this year? It's making this hard. 3 stars as well. 3 stars is like a common rating for me. So this one focuses on our main character, who essentially anytime she dates a guy, he goes on to meet the love of his life after her. They're in high school. It shits me to no end that that's even like a topic. So I just didn't find this book believable with that, because they're obviously high schoolers. Half their relationships didn't even end up being long-term anyway by the end of the freaking novel. But also we've got that subplot, and then we've also got the other main plot of she wants to basically be like a director of theater, and in order for her to basically apply for colleges and get into there to make her application look stronger, she knows she's got to have some actual acting experience, that's the word, on her application. So she decides to apply for Romeo and Juliet, and she's just gone for like one of the nurse characters, just a very small kind of role. But she ends up being cast as Juliet opposite her ex-boyfriend, who is now dating her best friend. And I just didn't really enjoy this one very much. I didn't find the plots very probable. I didn't like her best friend, and I just didn't enjoy it. And as such, 3 stars. So then books 7, 8, and 9 are part of a series, which is the Little Bridge Island series by Meg Cabot, and that has no judgments, no offense, and no words. I did read all of these 3 books in a 12-hour reading challenge. If I remember to link that below, I will. I rated all of these 3.5 stars. I didn't actually enjoy them a whole heap. They were just very meh for me. They're like part of a series, but they're like a companion series, so you don't really need to read them in order. But like, it wasn't set up very well. Didn't enjoy it. I thought the best one was No Words. But this one basically focuses on the fact that there's a hurricane, and all of it's about the lead up to the hurricane. It takes up like 90% of the book, and then main female character gets some phone calls being like, hey, are you still on the island because everyone's left? Can you just go check on my pets, because the bridge ends up getting damaged so people can't come back in. So she goes around looking after people's pets. In this one, we have a teacher and a police officer. The teacher finds an abandoned baby in the library. Sorry, she's not a teacher, she's a librarian. Finds an abandoned baby in the library, and her and the police officer try to find who the mother is, which they find within like the first 5 chapters. And then there's this whole other subplot with some rich people just living in people's houses for free. And I also didn't enjoy it that much. And then No Words was the best one out of the 3, which I kind of thought would be the case for me. And this one focuses on 2 authors. One of them lives on Little Bridge Island. The librarian comes into play in this one. But basically the other author, she's flying in for their very first book festival on Little Bridge Island. And she's only coming because male lead author is not going to be there, but turns out he's there and he's helping to sponsored the event, and they've had some run-ins, and all of them 3.5 stars, but nothing's really stuck with me. Honestly, if I was the type of person that was brutal and would unhaul books, I would keep this one and get rid of these 2. So then books 10, 11, and 12, let me put them around the right way, are all part of a series by Mary Lou, which is the Legend series, which has our first novel, Legend, the sequel, Prodigy, and then also the third and final book, Champion. There is a 4th book, I think, called like Rebel or something. I'm not going to pick it up. I didn't enjoy these books enough to warrant continuing on this series. I rated all of them 3 stars. I read all of them not together. I just read them once a month. I do think if I'd read these like 10 years ago, I would have adored this series and had a fantastic time with it. We have a dystopian society. There's this criminal who is really wanted by like the Republic, and then there's also this girl who is training up to be one of the soldiers in the Republic, and she's like a prodigy, and it's basically just them bringing down the Republic, and that is essentially it. So wasn't a huge fan. In all honesty as well, if I hadn't have picked up the entire trilogy, I would not have continued past. Why am I holding up the third and final book? I wouldn't have continued, well, Legend's the first one. I wouldn't have continued past Legend. It's just because I stupidly went out and bought them all, so I made myself read them. And then books 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 is all part of the one series by Rick Riordan, which is The Heroes of Olympus. The first book is The Lost Heroes, Go Into the Son of Neptune, The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and then the final book, which I read in July, was The Blood of Olympus, and I refused to film this video until I had read this book because I knew I wanted to do it. So all of these books I have rated 3 stars. I maintain if I'd read this years ago, I would have enjoyed them more. I'm not going to hold them all up because I just can't. My main complaint with this series is that they are so thick and not a lot actually happens in them. There's so many descriptions, there's so much just telling, and like it went for a while, and I think like a lot of the books and a lot of things just don't happen. The House of Hades, literally just them going through hell. The fact that the final book got to just 500 pages says a lot, but every single other book in this series, over 500 pages. It was just, I found it unnecessary. We've obviously got another prophecy. We've got 7 demigods who have to try, and I keep calling her Mother Gaia, but she's not Mother Gaia. She's the Mother Goddess, and she's just called Gaia. She's trying to come back to life and overthrow Olympus. We've got a Greek camp and now a Roman camp, and they come together and they fight and stuff happens, and the gods are useless. That is essentially this series. 3 stars for it. So they are the 17 books that I have managed to read so far. The question now remains of, well, what are the ones I haven't read? Well, since we're talking about series, let's just get straight into the first series that I have yet to read. That is the Slam trilogy by Colleen Hoover, which has our first novel, Slammed. We then go, not that one. We then go Point of Retreat, and then this girl. I have been procrastinating so hard about picking up this series because I really don't want to. I, over the last year or 2, have gone back through Colleen Hoover's back catalogue and have been reading all of her novels that I haven't read yet. I've decided that she's not an author that I gel with and that I want to read her novels. I just don't like the messages and the way she writes her stories. This is also her very first series she ever put out, and I'm procrastinating it because her other high school series, because this is about high schoolers, I didn't enjoy, I really hated. So I'm petrified I'm going to hate it, and I just don't want to have to read 3 books I'm not going to like. So we're going to get to this probably November, December, if I'm being honest, because this is going to be the last books on this challenge that I pick up, I guarantee it. And then the 4th book I have to read is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Whibley and Austin Siegerman Brockhaus. This is the 3rd and final book in this challenge that I have to read of theirs. And this is basically just about our main character, Cameron, who is not a very nice gal. In order to get a guy to like her, I think she changes her personality. I've not picked it up because I didn't really like the blurb, and I don't know why I picked this book up originally, but I'm going to read it. I've currently read 3 of their books so far this year, so I'm not expecting high things for this one, so watch it probably be my favorite. And then the 5th book I need to read is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I know the sequel's out and I really want to buy it, but I'm not letting myself because I haven't read this one yet, and if I don't like it, I shouldn't be buying the sequel. I don't really remember what this is about. I've just seen Vampire King. So I think this girl comes to marry the Vampire King, and she's like forced to marry him, and she tries to assassinate him and it doesn't work, and they end up falling in love. Probably some Stockholm Syndrome shit going on. But that one I need to read. I'm quite looking forward to it. I have been since I bought the book. I just haven't picked it up, and don't ask me why. I think why I don't like it is because it screams fantasy novel to me and not like more dark romance, which is what I think it actually is. And it maybe August will be the month. But if I like it, I'm going to pick up the sequel. So that's probably also why I haven't picked it up. And then book 6 is Star Daughter by Shveta Thakra. I said that wrong. This is a really cool one where this girl is like the daughter of a star, and her father gets sick, and the only way to heal him is by the celestials, like the stars. So there's like a whole star community. I love the stars and moons. I'm on board. So she's got to go up there to find a cure for her dad, but in the meantime, I think she competes in some games to become a ruler or something. That's kind of all I remember. I haven't picked it up, mostly because it's a fantasy novel. Let me just like work out how many pages it actually is, because like in my mind, I think it's like 800 pages, and that's why I have not picked it up. It's 435 pages, so it feels like it's going to be a long haul, though admittedly the font's quite big and the page is not too long by the time you do your borders, so we're going to get this read at some point. And then the 7th and final book that I need to read in order to be successful in this challenge is Cast in Firelight by Dana Swift. We've got 2 royal heirs. They have an arranged marriage. They don't like that. I think they're like warring communities or countries or whatever, and they have the arranged marriage to bring peace, and stuff happens. This is what I don't like about hardcovers. The blurb is never on the back. Oh, we've got a wizard. One of the heir is a wizard. I don't know. There's some spells, there's some magic, there's a ruling kingdom. We're gonna work out what's going on. But that is the update for the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. If you guys are currently participating in this challenge as well, please let me know in the comments down below how you are going. And I will see you next week for the second update video. Bye guys.